Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Welcome back to another episode of Premier League Countdown. Now, basically, is where we preview every Premier League team until the Premier League starts. And today we're talking about Brentford. Make sure to smash the likes and subscribe if you're new. Every fan is welcome, not just West Ham fans. This is predominantly a West Ham fan channel, but we just talk football. But yeah, thank you for 400 subscribers. We're on the road to 500. We're trying to hit that before the end of the year. Now, my question today for the Premier League countdown for Brentford is: will Brentford be in a relegation battle? Now, the reason why I say this is because if we look at almost not even an underlying numbers, but if we look at the situation from last season, I remember Brentford were never really in a relegation battle. However, Brentford were just above the teams that were in a relegation battle. The Nottingham Forest of this world, etc. And teams that got relegated, the Lutons as well. Now, Brentford weren't far away from them, but they had just about enough to survive. But it was also mainly because of the amount of injuries that they had, of why they were like this. Obviously, Ivan Toney was out for the first 6 months of the season due to the ban and stuff. A lot of people got injuries. Now, Wissa impressed at times, and Mbeumo impressed at times, but there was a lot of injuries to key players. The most notably for me, Rico Henry. Rico Henry is someone that it's very dynamic in that left wing back role for Brentford, and almost gives them something different. Someone that can run up and down and defend and attack to a competent level in both aspects of the pitch as well. Christian Norgard's a key player to them. I've always liked Christian Norgard. I've always liked watching him play football. Just in general, very composed on the ball. Matthias Jensen, decent player as well. I mean, it was so good that Blanco made a song referencing him. What worries me also about Brentford, just from a neutral angle as well, if I just share my screen, I was looking at the transfers they made, and the only transfer they made is a guy called Igor Thiago from Club Brugge, and he went for 33 million euros, and he is a centre forward. I'm assuming this is in anticipation of Ivan Toney leaving, because I'm assuming they was going to assume that Ivan Toney was going to leave this transfer window. Obviously, we know David Raya's got on a permanent Arsenal. We knew that was going to happen pretty much. And I'm not a big fan of their goalkeeper, Mark Fleck, and I don't think he's that good compared to David Raya in terms of just maybe just distribution, but just in terms of being an actual goalkeeper, actual shot stopping, what goalkeepers are meant to do. I believe he flaps a lot at shots and stuff, but he also, I'm pretty sure he was in some style, made some of the most saves in last season in the Premier League. Thomas Frank's obviously a good manager. He knows how to switch things up, etc. But there was a period of time where Brentford were going a really bad run of form. And I do question at times where could Brentford be almost a dark horse for a relegation battle this season. Now, if I'm looking at the teams that are probably going to be in a relegation battle this season, I'm looking at potentially Leicester for me are definitely getting relegated, but Southampton and Ipswich will be there, but I actually have a feeling that they'll survive. I'll go into that another time. Nottingham Forest, I think, will be up there again. We'll be down there again. Maybe Everton again, but maybe Everton without the points deduction under Sean Dyche will show that maybe they're just maybe too good to go down. And even then, it's mad to say that with how much of a crisis Everton are going through, that they're probably too good to go down. But we'll get onto them in a later video, probably this week. But with Brentford, I don't know how good this Igor Thiago guy is. I don't know whether anyone watches Belgian football can tell me, but also this guy has recently picked up a meniscus injury. So I don't know how long that means he'll be out for, but he's already picked up an injury 3 days ago, as I'm currently recording this on a Sunday. So it hasn't really started well. The only signing that they've made has got an injury. So already it's not the greatest of starts for Brentford within this transfer window. If you're looking at Brentford's squad now, you think fully fit. Let's say everyone's fully fit. Maybe one more midfielder. They've got a lot of midfielders, but maybe they want to add more maybe I would have a midfielder just to refresh it a bit. I think Jensen, Janelt, Norgard are good. I don't know what Josh Da Silva's at in terms of fitness nowadays, because he's a technically gifted player, but does seem to get injured quite a bit. Brian Mbeumo, we so good attackers. Ivan Toney obviously is there. I don't actually think he's going to move. I have a feeling Brentford will lose him on a free, because he's one of them players like Pedro Neto. I see him linked to move every window and nobody ever bids for him. And I don't think anyone's going to bid for him. Obviously, my club have been interested, but he obviously wants mad wages, and our club just doesn't want to pay the money for him, even though they want to pay for some reason 30 million plus for Duran, which is absurd in itself. But obviously, I've talked about that before on my channel. Let's say fully fit as well. Maybe they want a backup left back. I don't know who their backup left back usually is. Sometimes they play a winger there. So they re-signed Samas Godos after releasing him. I don't know if he's still there. I don't know if he's been released again or they're keeping him. But sometimes they play like a number 10 or a winger um, as a wing back, so they can kind of shuffle to a four at times. Like Ben Mee and Ethan Pinnock as a centre back, sometimes covering the full back positions. Obviously, their centre backs are Ethan Pinnock, Christopher Ayer, Ben Mee. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm forgetting. I don't know whether Zanka is still there. Obviously, Janssen left a year ago. But Rosalev at right wing back. Maybe they want better wing backs. I'm not too sure. The thing is, I don't know whether Brentford fans think they're a better team when it comes to the 5-3-2 or the 4-3-3, which is the two typical formations that Thomas Frank usually picks as well. You're kind of hoping for more from Mikkel Damsgaard as well, and the key Lewis Potter maybe will get more minutes. You're kind of hoping from that perspective that those two young players will get more minutes from that angle. And those seem to be players that should be able to step up, but they could only really benefit from a more attacking formation. Thomas Frank's obviously a good player, and I get Brentford probably don't have the biggest budget in the world, but signing one player is a bit risky in their situation because not many people will talk about it, but they could potentially slip down to a relegation battle, in my opinion. Just for the fact that even in like a Southampton and an Ipswich, even though they've got promoted, they seem to be a bit more prepared. That they don't have better coaches. Thomas Frank is a way better coach than Russell Martin and Kieran McKenna, but it's almost like sometimes promoted teams, as Brentford would know themselves, can benefit off that promotion bounce, doing really well to then taking it into their next season within the Premier League. And that can certainly happen from an Ipswich and Southampton point of view. So I'm thinking from an outsider point of view, can Brentford get those 40 points again? Will this be their season where they go back down? I actually hope for their sake it's not. I quite like the way they play at times, the way they can switch out from playing up from the back to going direct. It's just I don't think their football can particularly work when they are injury ridden once again. Now, I'm not too sure on their injury situation as it stands right now. If a Brentford fan is watching this, they can educate me in the comments because I would like to know from their point of view. But I do question, sort of where they are at, where they're at right now. Are they happy with where they're at right now? Are they prepared for another relegation battle, maybe even worse than last season? Because they weren't really in a relegation battle, but they weren't far off, as I said at the start of the video. So I do feel they may be an underdog for that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. The social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. And an email for the inquiries. And I'll see you guys later.